Welcome back from that musical break. This is still the Campus Drive show. My name is AJ Kwanzaa. I've been joined by Gideon Degbe. Now, Gideon is a student of the Heritage Christian University. He's as well contesting for the Youth Sanitation Minister. If you don't know more about him, you'll get to know him on the show. Have you heard about the Ghana's Youth President? If you've not heard anything about it, you'll get to know more about it from him. And so let's talk a little bit about sanitation. You know, sanitation is one of our greatest problem in the country. We throw rubbish around everywhere, and so Gideon will be telling us more about sanitation. It's good to have you in the studios, Gideon.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about you.
Well, as you rightly said, my name is Gideon Degbe, and student of Heritage Christian University College. And I am a contestant for in Ghana's Youth President, and I'm contesting for Youth Sanitation Minister. And I'm also the Youth MP for the Amasama constituency, at Youth Leadership Parliament. Yeah.
So Gideon, what does sanitation means to you? Because I see you are very young, which means you have passion for the job. And so when we say sanitation, what does it mean to you?
Well, personally, I would say that sanitation is an aspect of our lives that no person or individual can do away with. In our daily lives, everything we do has to be with cleanliness. And so, to me, I think that for every individual to live a life that is fulfilling, a life that is so appreciable, one has to always acknowledge the fact that sanitation is a priority in our lives. So I just love the fact that servicing or giving a service to the general public, or even to my nation, my mother nation, or mother Ghana, it's a priority. And then it's one of the most outstanding act that I can also do to serve my nation. Yeah.
Before we delve deeper into the conversation, let's talk about Ghana's Youth President.
Yeah.
If someone is watching for the first time, like, what is the Ghana's Youth President?
Well, so Ghana's Youth President it's basically coined, or it's taken from the Youth Leadership Parliament. So Youth Leadership Parliament started in 2016. Where the youth are groomed and trained to be politically inclined and also have this leadership kind of core, because there are a lot of youth who have the ability to lead, yet they backslide. They do not want to take up the position because they think that the old people are the ones supposed to be in office. So the main idea behind Youth Leadership Parliament is to help the youth to be able to have that kind of mentality that the youth, it is time for the youth to also take up leadership positions, and it's time for the youth to also lead. So it is there that the Ghana's Youth President came from. So the Ghana's Youth President is just about imitating the government.
Right.
So we have a set of cabinet, including the president, the ministers, and the various ministers for the various ministries. So for each ministry that we have in Ghana, so do we have it in the Ghana's Youth President. Which
means this is a powerhouse on its own.
Yeah, it's a very great
For
one.
me, hearing Ghana's Youth President for the first time, it sounds amazing to me, because I feel this is the time for the youth to actually participate more in decision making.
Right.
And so, how do you engage the youth to be able to participate in the decision making of this particular, let's say, organization?
Yeah, right. So the Ghana's Youth President, as I said earlier, it's from the Youth Leadership Parliament. So in the nation, the Youth Leadership Parliament models or imitates the National Parliament. So whatever, for the constituencies we have about 275 constituencies
Okay.
in the country, and for each constituency, Youth Leadership Parliament also have its representative for each of the constituencies. So whatever issues pop up, there are times that the Youth Parliament will meet, and then we debate on issues and also make our voice heard to the general public. So that's how we also put up our opinions on policies that government raise. So if policies are being brought up by the government and then the Ghana's parliament, we also take it up to our parliament to discuss whether it is in favor of the youth. Of course, it is an opinion that we also want to give to the government and in government dealings.
And so when these discussions are taken in your parliament,
Yeah.
how does it get to the bigger one?
Yeah, so just as we have the media and all those things that as it's kind of like channel. So everything that happens, we expect that the leaders are able to identify our input and then our efforts to make them aware that these policies are actually having a certain kind of impact on the youth or on the general populace, so that the decisions that they take will also be minimal. In case of anything, they will also take a second look at it. Yeah.
Now let's talk more about you, since you are contesting for the Sanitation Youth Minister. What are the improvements you've seen in our sanitation so far as a country?
Well, there are a lot of things going on today that I could say both positive and negative. In the past, we always, we've had this problem of open defecation that everywhere you pass, mostly in the rural areas.
Problem,
yes,
yeah.
that people just ease themselves anywhere. But I must appreciate the government. This year, early this year, around February, the government was able to provide 13,800 toilet facilities.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, to be able to cater for this open defecation stuff, to reduce the open defecation stuff. And I think it's a good move. And I also want to applaud the government for making an effort to reduce the poor sanitation conditions in the country, especially Accra. The government budgeted an amount, I think $48 million
Okay.
to help reduce this sanitation problems in Accra. This is to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa, and I will commend the government for that initiative. However, I think there are still more to be done. It's a wider problem, it's a broader problem. We can't focus it on a single or a particular city. It has to go, nationwide. And so saying that we want to make a particular city the cleanest wouldn't really have to be the main solution. No, it needs a major reform, reform, policies to clear off the previous practices that bring up poor sanitation. And so having some kind of specified area and trying to clean a specified area, it doesn't really solve our sanitation problem. But I think a complete reform of our whole sanitation policies will be the main solution point for
Because
Ghana.
I feel that starts with us. If let's say I'm a person and I drink a sachet of pure water, and I'm going to leave it around anywhere without feeling guilty, that's a really bad thing to do.
Right.
And so I think the target should be more about changing the mind of the people and not just cleaning, because every time if you are going to clean and they are going to do the same thing, then we remain the same as a country.
Right.
And so how are you willing to change this when you come into power? Let's say I vote for you. If he votes for you, she votes for you. How are you willing to change this?
Well, definitely. I would love that everybody votes for me, actually. Personally, there are measures that, we are not the front liners. We have our ministers, and our main role is to be the grassroots support to our leaders. So where they cannot see, it is our responsibility to make them happen. However, we can also suggest policies that would help or benefit the nation in general. So in my office, you you cannot lead, you cannot have such an office without a manifesto, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, in my policies I had to outline that, you know, there are people who will want to when it comes to rubbish collection or refuse dump and all that, there are people who would want to be able to clean up their areas and have the rubbish or dumps, refuse dumps collected. But you see, our agencies, the environmental agencies, they will have to come take some tokens before it is collected. You know, we have most of these are people in the communities who cannot afford to pay. You know, in my area where I stay, you have to pay 35 cedis, and others have to pay 40 cedis. In some areas,
same applies to me.
You see, others have to even pay like 50 cedis, and there are people who are living below average. I mean, their income is below average. Who cannot even afford even what they eat is a problem. So I think making the policy or bringing a policy such that those who can pay, those who have the ability, who has the ability to be able to pay for the collection, it will be done, and then the low income earners or those who are in the poor areas will have their rubbish collected, I mean, freely. Because if it is done so, it is the only way that we will have everybody willingly to make their surroundings clean. Yeah. And aside that, I believe that if the government makes it a point to eliminate the use of plastic bags, it will be a very big start for a clean Ghana. Because you know, when this rubbish are collected, about 90% or 95% of our waste are all plastic. And so when you go and dump them at the landfill sites, they don't decompose. They are just there, and then the place is just years for it to decompose. But assume it's paper. Papers just in few times it just go off. So if the government is able to shift plastic waste or plastic bags to paper bags, it would be able to help us to solve. I mean, should I say 70% of our sanitation problem? Because as I said earlier, plastic waste are 90% of our sanitation problem, and then if it is taken off, then that means 70% of our sanitation problem is actually solved. So I think it is a policy that I believe that if the government is able to consider that, it will be a very big push to help in our development when it comes to sanitation.
Indeed, it will be a big push to help our sanitation. But which constituency are you representing?
Oh yeah, I am actually the youth MP for the Amasaman constituency, which is also to help, as I said earlier, the grassroots. That's what we basically do, and also to bring to the attention of the community leaders certain problems that they have not, seen or come across. Yeah.
We'll come back to this conversation. Now, this is still the Campus Drive Show. I've been having a one-on-one conversation with Gideon Degbe. Now, Gideon is a student of the Heritage Christian College who is contesting for the Youth Parliament Minister, or the Youth
Sanitation Minister.
Sanitation Minister, rather, pardon me. And so let's go for a quick break. We'll continue the conversation after this. If you just join us, I've been speaking with Gideon Degbe. Now, Gideon is a candidate contesting for the Youth Sanitation Minister for Ghana's Youth President.
Right.
And so we've been talking more about sanitation, a bit about himself, and how we can all support him to get there. But you know, this show, we never leave our students out. It's all about you. And so, Gideon, let me ask you, when it comes to sanitation, especially the students,
Yeah.
because on campus drive it's all about them.
Yeah.
Whether you're a tertiary student, you're a JHS student, you're a senior high student,
It's all
or
about
even
students.
crèche. How well can we educate these students in order to keep their surroundings clean, to avoid all this?
Yeah, it's an important question that I believe it's when the people, students especially, as you said, if they're able to get this, it will be able to be another step, or it will be another step that will also lead to a kind of reformation for the nation. We have been invested in, or people have invested in us to bring up change, and so we are the change. And so everything about sanitation, it's all about us. That's what I used to say every day when I meet people in talking about sanitation. I used to say that sanitation is about us.
Yeah.
And so if we are not able to put in the right steps and make the right things happen, it's not going to happen. And so as students, we have our parents who have invested in us to become change to, or become agents of change to community.
Yeah.
And so if we go and learn and we are not able to deliver, then we haven't learned, and we haven't contributed to the community, and the resources that has been put in us or invested in us has gone waste. So I would advise, or I would pass a comment to the youth and the general populace, that it is our responsibility to keep our surroundings clean and to help improve the sanitation conditions in the nation. And so moving around and dumping refuse anywhere at any time, it isn't the right thing to do. If we want to live and make sure that our surroundings are clean, when we drink from the sachet water, or sachet
water,
when we drink sachet water, we should be able to dispose it well, and not just by the roadside or in the compound, or just anywhere. No, it doesn't make it right. We should be able to, as a student, we should be able to show, or we should be able to exhibit some kind of change in us for our families, our siblings, our brothers and sisters and friends to also emulate. Yes, because if we don't show them, they are stuck to their old kind of behavior, and if we don't show them, they are not going to change. So everything begins with us. So I used to, like I said earlier, everyone that I speak to about sanitation, I used to say that the improvement of our sanitation, it's us. Once we change, our sanitation conditions will change. So I'll carry that message that it begins with us.
And of course, change starts with us. And so if you're a student and you are watching it, make sure it is your responsibility. It is my responsibility. It is his responsibility, to be able to keep our environment very clean. But Gideon, why Amasaman?
You know, when you want to deliver for your nation, you don't necessarily have to think about a particular location. It has to be, what can I offer to my nation? And that is why I didn't really have to choose where I was born, or
okay, so tell us where you were born.
Oh.
So tell us where you were born, because I would like to know. I guess they would also like to know.
Well, I was born in Kitikrachi.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and which is currently in the Oti region, formerly Volta region, but currently in the Oti region. Yeah, that was where I was born.
Okay.
Yeah, but since right now, currently I stay in Amasamai, and that is why I am the youth MP for the Amasamai constituency. So I represent the people of the Amasamai at the Youth Leadership Parliament, you know, in dealing with matters relating to growth and development at a grassroots level. You know, don't forget that it's at a grassroots level, because we cannot have our leaders up on the. No, they can't know all the issues that are happening. At least there are people.
Sorry, you have to be the ones to be able
at least, to be
send,
sending some kind of information to them, you know. So if we can be of that help to the leaders, I know it's another step to development, and so that is it. And then, I mean, to sanitation, because I think it's an important thing, and then it needs somebody who knows that sanitation is a it's vital to people, to our health, and to our development.
So how did you get to join this whole campaign?
Yeah, it has to do with me joining Youth Leadership Parliament first. And so after joining Youth Leadership Parliament, you know, I joined Youth Leadership Parliament to be able to get proper grooming. Yeah, and then the opportunity came up to have this contest. It's actually the first one that we are having. There will be subsequent
so
ones.
It's the maiden edition.
The maiden edition,
okay.
Exactly. So I am glad that I happen to be among the first batch of, or to be a part of the maiden edition, actually, because
it's going to be a history.
Yeah, of course, you know, and so that's how come I had the opportunity to join the Ghana Youth President.
And I know you're also contesting for, or you're a nominee for the SRC President of the Heritage Christian University. And so tell us a bit about that.
Everywhere I go, everywhere I find myself, I want to be useful. And if I step in a place where I am not recognized as a useful person, I don't see why I should be there. And so anywhere I go, I decide that whatever the situation is, looking at where I came from and looking at who I am, I want to be an agent of change. So for every place that I stay, I want to make sure that I'm able to impact lives of people.
And I think that that's a leadership quality.
Yeah,
that's a leadership quality.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment, actually. Yeah, so that is one thing that pushes me to actually take up positions. I serve from the down, and I serve from the middle, and I love to serve from the top as well.
All right.
That is what pushes me actually to enter into.
And so I'm more concerned about that. And so if you win, combining the two, how difficult is it going to be for you?
Well, you know, Youth Leadership Parliament has a package where any member who is also an SRC president or holds any office in the SRC would have their, you know, there's going to be some kind of balance where you'll be able to manage your school affairs and also be able to manage affairs relating to Youth Leadership Parliament and then communities as well. And you know, it's all about management, and it's all about time management. How you're able to fuse the two, it all depends on yourself. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's much of a problem. It all depends on the individual, and it all depends on how you manage your time.
And so how can we vote for you?
Well, this is a good question that I would like the whole people, the viewers, to pay attention to. Yeah, because it's important to me, actually. Yeah, so it's simple. A vote is 1 cedi, and you just have to dial *714 *13 hash, and then you go through the process. So *714 *13 hash, then you select 4, which is Osajifo cabinet, and then you select next, which is ash. It comes like that, and then ash, which is also next, I would say, and then my name is number 11. You just choose 11, and then the rest of the procedure falls in line. And then you just have to put in your code, your Momo code, and then the vote is on. So that is how. And then there's an alternative. It's actually a link to the voting portal, which I'm not allowed to put it to the public. But then anybody who finds problems with the code, of course, can contact Campus Drive TV, and then.
Or just give us your social media handles before we close interview. So how can we get you on social media?
On social media, just when you key in Gideon Degbe, that's me on Facebook, and then Gideon Degbe again, it's me on Instagram, and then Gideon Degbe again is on Twitter. So it's just Gideon Degbe, Gideon Degbe, Gideon Degbe.
All right, so go and vote for Gideon. Go and support him. Let him win, and let's all win together. I've been speaking to Gideon, who is contesting for the Youth Minister
for Sanitation.
And so this is a way we can support him. go through the link. I want you to
Okay.
look directly into your camera and tell the viewers that. So take your camera and then tell them the procedure again.
Well, so *714*13# hash, then select 4 or surgical cabinet. You select next, which is hash, and then you select 11 Gideon Degbe, and then you can proceed with the rest of the process.
All right, so go support him. Gideon, it's been nice hanging out with you.
Thank you. It's
We'll
a pleasure.
come back with more after this break. Well, if you missed that conversation, I've been speaking with the Youth Sanitation Minister. He's actually a contestant. And so, like he rightly said, go and support him, go and vote for him, and let's all win together. Mainly for me, I think that this is the time for the youth, you and I, to be engaged in the decision making of the country, because we help them get there and the Senate up there. And so let's all vote for him and support his dreams come true.